Alright folks, time for another viewing. This time we're after Fulmodeston, St Mary's Church, which was abandoned, along with the one at Croxton, which I did go to St John the Baptist at Croxton in one of my earlier videos. So if you want to go and have a check that out, please do if you haven't already. So this was abandoned along with the one at Croxton in the 1880s, and a brand new one was built called Christchurch, and that was built exactly pretty much halfway between these two abandoned churches. And Christchurch is still there, still used today. So let's go and have a look, see what it's all about. So here we are folks. Let's hope it's where the map says it is, although it looks promising, as there looks like a beaten path through the bushes. So that's a good start. Well, it's meant to be wreathed in creeping ivy and standing long forgotten to time. This abandoned church haunts a sleepy Norfolk village. Well, I can't wait to see this. It looks atmospheric already, and I've only just gone through the bushes. The Black Death of 1348 halved the population of Fulmodeston. This resulted in a gradual rebuilding of new houses on a slightly different site. So the old church was left separate from the newer village. There's a few local legends associated with the church, such as a coffin that was never buried and still lying beneath the rubble. It is said the occupant haunts the ruins. There has also been reported sightings of Black Shuck, the demon hound, near the site. Let's hope neither the ghost or the hound appear. I just can't run as fast as I used to. But we're certainly in the right place, because I can see gravestones, so that's a good sign that there's a church nearby. But St Mary stands roofless and abandoned in the field, and it's recorded in the Domesday Book. So it was certainly here pre-conquest times. So let's go and have a look at the Domesday Book, see what that says. So I've got Fulmodeston was a settlement in Domesday in the 100 of Gallow in the county of Norfolk. So the recorded population 29 households in 1086, putting it in the largest 40% of settlements recorded in Domesday. So it was the land of William of Warren, 29 smallholders, and we've got land, ploughland. There's 2 lords plough teams, 4 men's plough teams, meadow 16 acres, woodland 30 pigs, and 1 church. So we know that the church was existing in 1086, and obviously before then, it was built before then, if it existed then. So livestock, 1 cob, 180 sheep, 40 goats. 1 beehive in 1086. Tenant-in-chief, William of Warren. The Lord in 1086 was Walter of Grandcourt. Lord in 1066 was Toki of Walton. There we go. All interesting stuff, steeped in history. As I said, after the Black Death of 1348, which halved the population, this church was left separate from its village. The 19th century saw a rise again in population, and the vicar, Reverend James Mould, finally closed the old church and built a new one on a new site in the village centre in 1881. The neighbouring village of Croxton was already depopulated, and the church of St John the Baptist was closed at the same time. They are now both ruins. Alright folks, as you can see, I've got the old map up from 1815 and shows there St John the Baptist at Croxton there as the little cross. I'll just zoom in a bit. Just about to see the cross there. That's St John the Baptist at Croxton, and there we've got St Mary at Fulmodeston. The two villages each had their own church, but as we've heard, fell into ruin. They decided to build a church there called Christchurch in the 1880s. It's still there now to this day and still used. So there we go. There's a bit of a history of the two churches. These old gravestones have some amazing decorations. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. The church was formerly scheduled and it was described as still in use as a mortuary chapel with good panelling inside, but little of it remains today. The nave and chancel are hollowed out husk, its roof long since burned down. Just have a look in. And look, here it comes now. Wow, that is impressive. And it's got such an atmosphere to it. Look at it. I love it. I love it. Don't know whether the camera will show it in its glorious state that it looks. It looks stunning. Can't wait to get inside and have a look. Well, it mostly dates to the medieval period and was built in two phases with a flint face tower erected in 1450, tracery and adornments, battlemented parapets and lancet windows, all characteristics of that time. That's why I'll get a bit closer to it now and have a look. Little stone there, don't know what that is, just a loose stone. Looks fairly modern really. But look at that nature. What a beauty. Look at that nature doing its thing. Wow. It's just relentless, isn't it, nature? Never stops. It never stops. Fascinating. If something's left, just gets taken back over. Amazing. Wow, let's carry on a walking round. Strange stone in the floor. No idea. Once again. Well, we're now getting to the entrance to the West Tower, which has a delicately carved doorway. Look at that beauty. Still in great condition, really. That doorway is. Superb. Well, we'll carry on having a walk. Walk around the outside first. See what we've got. Where nature meets history. It's got such a beautiful vibe to it. It's just I love it. I absolutely love it. Wow. Look at all this nature. You can just about make out the parapets on the top of the tower. So much vegetation. Mines. It's like something you see out of Indiana Jones. Half expecting Sean Connery to pop his head round the corner. Junior! It's you, Junior! Our early records list the marriage of Thomas Davey and Mary Hewitt on October the 18th, 1754, the first of 182 such weddings officiated at the church between then and 1837. Now here it is, a beautiful building with nature slowly reclaiming it in its own beautiful way. Just walking along the north face now. Looks like I've got to fight my way through a bit of undergrowth to get through there. Working our way around to the east side. The east window with intersected tracery suggested that this is not original, but it's pretty obvious really it's not original. Is anything original in this building? If it was pre-Norman times, then there's hardly anything look pre-Norman from going around the outside. But as often the case, things get changed over the years, modernised, or things decay, so they replace them. But it's certainly not a Saxon window. Just about glimpse the west window, west tower window there through the inside of the church. Well, I'll continue back round to the south side. Find my way through the shrubbery. Duck my way past this tree. There we go on the nave, south nave wall. Got most likely a 15th century perpendicular window. And there's a small lancet window there. Just about glimpsed it. Probably its original feature. Who knows what date. Probably from around about 1200 to 1400. It's roughly when those windows were in place. So let's carry on back round to the west tower entrance. And let's go in. But the west tower doorway is a bit of a puzzle because we know that the tower was constructed in 1450, as there are quite a few records that show this. But quite a few historical sites say that the doorway and the belfry windows are from around 1300. So maybe the tower got built or rebuilt in 1450 and they used the old doorway and windows. So who knows? The tower also has white tracery in the bell openings. When I saw that, I first thought, it's a fireplace. But in fact, it's a square sound hole for the bells, for the sound to come down. Isn't that amazing? I'll put the tower there, still some wooden beams for supporting the bell. That sound square sound hole is amazing. What a great idea. Whoop. Stairway up to the tower. That must be investigated. God, the sound of that bell coming down the hole must have been amazing with the doors closed in this small church. What a lovely tranquil moment. What a lovely tower. Looks like the nave and chancel all in one, not separate at all. Probably just separated from the roof screen back in the day. Oh, a blocked up south doorway there. That was probably the main entrance at one time. It's funny how these things get used and then blocked up. Oh, and there's a blocked up north doorway as well. Some old tombstones with some markings on. Can't work out. There's another one. I wonder what their story is. Long forgotten. There's one of them small windows again. Small lancet windows. They're probably the original features. Carry on through. type of plaque there, but impossible to read. Oh, what is that? That's a very strange shaped object, monument, whatever it is, beside the east window. Look at this though, it's fascinating. I could spend hours there. I literally could spend hours there. I love it. Absolutely love it. I could bring me tent and camp here. It might be a bit spooky and scary on the night though. Maybe that ghost would come out or black shook. Maybe I won't get me tent out. I can see where the lancet was in that window. Must have had such a cosy, tranquil feel for it. Imagine sitting there in the aisles, the pews, and the bell was chiming and coming down that sound hole. Bong, bong. Well, I think it's time to dig the torch out and get climbing. Oh, they look quite narrow for my size 10s. Well, you'll have to forgive the absolutely horrendous video work because I'm holding my phone in one hand, my torch in the other, trying to not to lose my balance on the small steps, and just hoping that there's not any birds nesting up here that will come and attack me, because I seem to attract nesting birds for some reason. So, with hindsight, I think I would have put a head torch on, so that's for next time. I must stock a head torch, so then I've got a hand free for balancing and holding on. Here we are, and we've made it to the belfry. A quick look over the edge. Then it's carry on climbing. Look at that. I'm not liking that bit. I'm not the best for heights. So it's like, carry on up. I was doing the death grip with my toes inside my shoes, clinging on like a budgie to its little perch. But I soldiered on up. It's great that you can still get up here. A lot of these doorways now are blocked up and stuff. So you can see why, health and safety really nowadays. But and here we are, up to the top of the belfry. And it looks like some brave soul there. It's put a nesting box or something for a bird. How'd you carry that up there and manage? How'd you get that over there? Braver than me. Oh, some fine pieces of timber there, obviously The bells, I'm presuming, used to hang off that. I can see a lancet window there. And time to get back down. I wasn't enjoying that, but I haven't got a good head for heights. Time to go down. How they built these things amazes me. Well, I'm hugging the inside steps there, which is quite difficult when they get narrow towards the middle because of that big gap down the edge. So it's like, but I survived. I'd do it a bit different next time. So head torch would make a big difference. Carry on down, and I just had to get attacked by a killer butterfly there. He's coming in for the kill. I swear it had fangs. But I had to put the torch up above my head, so we flew up that way and then carried on down. And quite a few of them, there was clinging to the wall. It must be a little butterfly house. So, and I made it down. So there we go, folks. That's St. Mary's Church in Fulmodeston. I hope you enjoyed it. Alright, folks, hope you enjoyed that church. It was amazing, so atmospheric. I love it. I might even just go back just for another look. Absolutely loved it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my struggles up and down the tower. That was a nightmare, but still, the things we do, eh? Anyway, during my research for the looking at Fulmodeston and the church, I found out that Fulmodeston played an important part during the war as parts of Operation Starfish. This referred to a series of World War II British decoy operations designed to deceive the German bombers. The Starfish decoys, inspired by Colonel John Turner and Churchill, involved creating false urban and industrial areas using fires and lights to simulate bombing raids, diverting German bombers away from the real targets. So decoy sites were strategically placed in the countryside and used fires, lights and other visual cues to mimic burning urban or industrial areas. And Fulmodeston also used a decoy airfield, which served as a decoy for West Raynham RAF base. These decoys were designed to look like real airfields from the air, featuring dummy aircraft, mock bombs and fuel dumps, painted canvas hangars to divert enemy bombing raids. And the airfields were designated K, and the Q sites were like the special effects sites to create the fires and the lights, etc. And Fulmodeston was classed as a KQ site, so it had both the decoy airfield and the special effects building. So I finally did a bit of digging, found out where they were, so I went and had a look. Fortunately, like a fool, I only took photos instead of a video. Don't know why. Just never even crossed my mind to do a video. But there we go. So I've got some still photos of it. So I'll just show them you. And there we go. So Fulmodeston was not the sleepy little village that it appears. It's got stories to tell. Stories to tell. So On to the next one, wherever that may be. See you then.